Hello everyone, welcome to day 21 of the SOC 100 Days Learning Challenge. And today we are shifting gears from Windows to dive into the world of Linux log. And if you are in a security operations center or handling Linux based servers, understanding and analyzing Linux log is an essential skill for detecting and responding to security incidents. And Linux, unlike Windows, has a different logging architecture, and its log file are spread out in a different locations, so each serving a unique purpose. But don't worry, by the end of this video you will have a solid understanding of Auth, Syslog, and Audit Log, and how to use them to spot suspicious activity on Linux system. So let's get started. All right, so what we will cover in this video. So we are going to cover why Linux log matter, key Linux log file overview, Auth log, syslog, audit log, and detection techniques using Auditd for tracking, bonus tips, useful tools for log analysis, and key takeaway and wrap up. All right, so why Linux log matter, or why are the Linux log important? So before we dive into the specific log, let's talk about why Linux log are so crucial in the security world. So number one, real-time monitoring. So Linux log contains real-time information about system activities, including user login, command executed, file access, and errors. So these are your first line of defense when it comes to detecting threats. So number two, security and auditing. So logs allow you to track unauthorized access, suspicious behavior, privilege escalation, and potential sign of malware or lateral movement on your network. And number three, incident response. So when an incident happens, logs are your historical record. They help you understand the who, what, when, where, and how of a security breach. So finally, we can say logs provide deep system visibility for proactive defense. And here you can see we have some popular Linux distributions. All right, so the next one, key Linux log files overview, or key Linux log for detection. So let's explore the three primary type of logs we will often work. So here we have log type, locations, and purpose. So auth.log or auth log. So the location is where slash log slash auth.log. So this is the auth.log file. And what it does, so it track authentication and pseudo events. And next we have syslog, and this is the file location where slash log slash syslog, and syslog usually syslog used for general system and application log. And number three is audit log. So this is the file location for audit log, and audit log provide the detailed kernel and security audit trail. All right, so number one, auth log. So the auth log, usually found in var log auth.log, is critical for tracking authentication attempt on a Linux machine. It record event like user login, sudo executions, and SSH access. So if someone try to brute force their way into your system or escalate their privilege, this log will likely have the evidence. And what to look for, so we can look the failed login attempt or multiple unsuccessful login, and sudden changes in user privilege label, easy switching from regular user to root, and the SSH login event from unknown IP address. And here we have sample log, so we can see we have some failed password attempt from root, and this is the IP address and port number is 22, the default one. And there are some other log, failed password for invalid user admin. So this is sign of a classic brute force attempt or some privilege escalation or elevation. And what are the detection tips for it? So look for multiple failed login attempt followed by successful login. So this could be a sign of brute force attack. Failed pseudo attempt could indicate an attacker trying to escalate privilege. SSH for Unfamiliar IP address or countries is often suspicious, so consider implementing geo blocking or two-factor authentication for SSH. All right, so next one we have Syslog, system-wide event. So the syslog is general log for system and application event. It logs information about system operations, hardware events, and general error message, unlike the auth log, which is specific to authentication related event. So the syslog provide a broader picture of what is going on with your system. So what to look for? So unexpected system crashes or hardware failure, and system service restart, especially if the occur at strange hours, and changes to system configuration or unexpected error in the system service. And here you can see we have some sample log. So server system D started daily cleanup or temporary directories, and the kernel event. So kernel event throwing some type 1400, and audit app armor allowed, and operation is open, and this is the profile. So this is how you can understand the what's going on your machine. So detection tips are like service restart or system reboots at unexpected time can indicate malicious activity, the system tampering or backdoor installation. Look for any unusual kernel message or denied operations, especially related to app armor or SE Linux. So which might indicate an attacker's effort to evade detections. Next one we have audit log. So audit log uh, located in var log audit audit.d. It provide most granular level of logging, so it track every system call made by kernel and is essential for detailed audit trails. It's especially useful for tracking file access or modifications, user activity, and changes to system setting. And what to look for? So changes to file permission or system binaries, e.g. system file being modified by a non-root user, and the privilege escalations. So like regular user attempting to run privilege commands, and file integrity check or unexpected file access. And here we have some sample logs, so you can go in detail and check. So what are the detection tips? So the detection tips are like watch for unexpected file access or modifications to critical system files. Keep an eye on any non-root user is trying to execute commands that require elevated privilege. Investigate any system call that are linked to malicious behavior, like accessing a known malware executable or executing unexpected script. All right, so next one we have how to analyze and detect malicious activity in Linux log. So number one, centralized logging and SIEM integration. So managing logs from individual Linux server can be a pain, so especially in larger environments. So using a SIEM security information and event management solution like Splunk, ELK stack, or Greylog can help you centralize all your log and apply advanced detection technique. For example, you create detection rule for things like failed login attempt, easy for multiple IP address in a short time, unauthorized sudo uses, non-administrative user running privilege command, file integrity changes, etc. And next one, monitor user activity with Auditd. So the Auditd daemon is responsible for generating the audit logs on Linux. By configuring it properly, you can monitor specific actions like privileged command execution or file access. You can define audit rule to track specific commands, file directories, and then monitor the generated log by using SIEM for suspicious activity. For example, monitor sudo uses. So you can use this command, audit ctl w user bin sudo, and this rule will trigger whenever the sudo command is executed, and you will be able to track who ran sudo and what command was executed with elevated permissions or privileges. So here you can see the audit rule deployed using auditctl, audit.d configuration, and so this is kernel label logging. All right, so next section we have bonus section for tips. So here are some bonus tips and resources that will give you extra edge in detecting security incident with Linux log. So these tips will enhance your detection capabilities, streamline your workflow. So let's keep you ahead from potential threats. Let's jump right in. So tips number one, managing log growth with Logrotate. So Linux system can generate huge log files quickly, especially on busy servers. So without proper log management, logs can pile up and become a performance bottleneck and even lead to disk space issue. So that's where log rotation comes in. So Linux comes with tool called Logrotate, and which help you manage log file by rotating or archiving and compressing the old log and keeping the system clean. So by default, log rotate run daily and archive log to keep them manageable. And you can configure it to rotate log, compress old log, and delete log from a certain number of days. So here is the example of log rotate configuration for rotating auth log. So you can see here is the file directory auth.log, and it's set daily, and it is rotating. It's keep rotating 7 archived versions and compressing it. So it is compressing the archived log to save space, and this ensures that your logs don't eat up all your storage and keep them manageable for analysis. Tips number two, set alerts. So setting up real time alerts for key events in your log in Linux log can help you respond to security incident as soon as they happen. So whether you are using Syslog, Auditd, or another log management system, you can configure alerts for event like multiple failed logon attempts with a short time, unusual sudo misuse or activity like a user running a command they normally don't use, and changes in a critical file or directory. So if you are using a SIEM like Splunk, you can set up custom detection rule to trigger alert for suspicious activities. So here I have one example, the SPL command. So you can see we are using index Linux log, source type is Linux auth, and event code is failed login, and it is going to state the count by source IP and username, and then going to check if the count is more than 5 attempts. So this SPL will alert you when there are more than 5 failed logon attempt from a same IP address or username in a short period. So it's basic indicator of a brute force attack. Then tips number three, detect unauthorized file modification. So using file integrity monitoring called FIM is a great way to detect unauthorized changes to critical system files and configuration setting. So when an attacker gain access to a system, they often modify key files like etc password or bin bash or etc sshd configuration or bin bash to escalate privilege or maintain persistence. So there are some tool like AIDE, OSSEC can help you monitor critical files and integrity changes. So for example, using AIDE to monitor files, so you can install it using sudo opt install AIDE, then initialize the AIDE database. So this will capture the baseline state of your system, and you can use the sudo AIDE int and then run AIDE to check the changes using sudo AIDE check. So AIDE will compare the current state of your system with the baseline and report any unexpected changes, and this can help you detect if an attacker modified system binaries or configuration files. Next one we have monitor kernel log or kernel log monitoring. So The kernel log can provide valuable insight into what is happening under the hood of your Linux system, while Syslog and Auth Log give you good insights into user and application behavior. Kernel log found in var log, kern.log often reveal system level anomalies of attacks. So what to look for? So you look for the kernel policies or crashes, unauthorized module loads or rootkits, security related kernel message such as those related to app armor or SE Linux denials. For example, unauthorized module load detection in kern.log. So here you can see an example or sample where this example indicate that the app armor security profile is blocking Docker from reading etc shadow, which is good thing, but it is also something to look out for if attacker attempt to bypass security control. Okay, next one we have regularly review and rotate SSH key. So SSH keys are often the most secure way to authenticate to a Linux server, but they can also be a potential attack vector if compromised. So, as part of your ongoing security hygiene, it is important to regularly rotate SSH keys and ensure that only authorized user have access. So here are some tips, like you can review your authorized keys regularly to ensure only trusted keys are listed, and rotate keys periodically to limit the damage if the key is ever compromised, and disable root SSH login over SSH to prevent attacker from using root SSH keys. To disable root login in SSH, modify your SSH d .config file. So you can go uh, sudo nano and then etc ssh and then your ssh.config file, and you can set the permission using permit root login no, and then restart uh, systemctl restart sshd. All right, so next one we have useful tools for log analysis. So here are a few tools and resources that will help you dive deeper into Linux log analysis. Number one, LogWatch. So a log analyzer that parse log file and send you summaries. So it's a super helpful for getting a daily report of your logs. And the next one, OSSec. So it's an open source hits mean host intrusion detection system that provide real-time monitoring, log analysis, and file integrity monitoring. And OSSec official website is www.ossec.com. And then we have Go Access, so a real-time log analyzer that provide a easy to use web interface for analyzing web server log. And then we have Splunk ELK. So if you are working with a SIEM, Splunk has a powerful Linux log parsing capabilities and great alerting feature. And ELK stack, so the Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana stack provide a complete solution for collecting, parsing, and visualizing Linux log data. ELK stack is very popular tool. And what is the goal? So the goal is to automate, visualize, and alert. So that's how we can monitor the suspicious activity in our environment. Next, wrapping it up and key takeaways. So now you got the solid foundation for working with Linux logs in your SOC operations and understanding the monitoring Auth log, Syslog, and Audit log. So this will help you to detect malicious activity like brute force attack, unauthorized privilege escalation, and file manipulation. So these logs are your first line of defense when managing Linux systems, and the better you understand them, the more prepared you will be to respond the security incident. And some pro tips. So the key to success in log analysis is consistent monitoring and proactive configuration of the logging of your Linux servers. The more you automate the integration with SIEM, the faster you can detect and respond to threat. So stay tuned for day 22, where we will dive into more advanced tactics and tools Keep up the great work. And if you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much. And for the practical hands-on, I have already created the detailed video. I will provide the description in the link and also in the I button.